Halo 2. Pretty cool game, right? Did you know there is a second secret version of the Halo 2 manual? Most of us had the standard version of the game, where the manual explains the events of Halo CE from the human perspective. But did you know in the limited collector's edition of Halo 2 it came with a Covenant manual? Like, it's not just limited to the cover art being swapped with an Elite. The entire manual is from the Covenant perspective. It gives the Covenant point of view on Halo being destroyed and their own analysis of human weapons and vehicles. It's super cool. I can't believe I never knew this existed. Now come with me while I go over some highlights I've found that really make the manuals pop. When we look at the back covers of the manuals, we see the difference in color. The human manual being gold and green and the Covenant manual being purple and blue. But do you spot the difference on the controller diagram? The white button shows the flashlight function like normal for Master Chief, but on the Covenant one, it shows active camo. That's such cool attention to detail. Next we move to the meat of these manuals where we see the humans' secret transmission and the Covenant's report on the atrocity at Halo. They are summaries of the events in Halo CE from each faction's perspective. The human one is from Cortana's perspective and is a message to Oni. It talks about the Pillar of Autumn's escape from Reach, how they escaped near it to a gas giant named Threshold, and that, to her considerable surprise, they discovered an artificial ring construct 10,000 kilometers in diameter. She goes on to explain the significance of Halo to the Covenant, the release of the Flood, an AI known as 343 Guilty Spark, that Halo is designed to kill everything in the galaxy, that they successfully destroyed the ring, and destroyed a significant amount of enemy personnel and material. We also get a brief description of Master Chief. The Covenant summary is from the Arbiter's perspective and is written to the Prophet of Truth. He describes in gut-wrenching shame his failure to safeguard Halo. He says he takes full responsibility for what happened and he awaits his punishment. He then goes on to explain what Master Chief, or the Demon, is. He says that many things said about him are just superstitions from the grunts, and he's still only a human, not worthy of either respect or fear. However, he does go on to explain that the Demon is called a Spartan, and that Spartans are stronger, more aggressive, and more difficult to kill than regular humans. Isn't that just awesome? Doesn't that make the entire game just pop into a richer and deeper sense of color? I just love it. It's just great and simple. There's no weird story about Master Chief casually destroying 500 Covenant ships on his way back to Reach, totally undermining the weight of the player's achievement in Halo CE. Sorry for my passive aggressiveness towards First Strike. I just don't care for that story. Anyways, let's move on. Next we have on the human side, breakdown of known Covenant units, and on the Covenant side, our numbers deployed on the human world. While the unit descriptions for both are pretty straightforward, I do encourage you to go through and read them. They're both different for humans and Covenant, which is fun. But what I really like is the brief paragraphs we get before the unit descriptions. The Covenant one is from the Council and says, "The human homeworld is a primitive mix of cluttered angular dwellings, open bodies of water, and some purposeless agricultural areas. It has little logic in layout or structure, and its warrens of slum and rock make for challenging battles. Our mission is such that we cannot simply level these structures, and so we shall deploy a wide range of general fighters and specialists to ensure our task is completed with speed, purpose, and accuracy." It's so cool to read something like a message to the Covenant soldiers likely moments before reaching Earth. Next we have the human side. Covenant society is highly segmented, consisting of a confederation of races. While an overall socio-political review is important for understanding the nuances of Covenant society, including the role of prophets, The key for combating our enemy is to review the Covenant fighting classes, which are comprised of grunts, jackals, elites, brutes, drones, and prophets. While a bit more straightforward, it's still fun to read this. Next we get explanations of the Mjolnir battlesuit and the Sangheili battlesuit. This is just dripping with more fun pop color. That's what I'm gonna say when something is cool. Pop color. Now we get into all the weapon descriptions, and while again they're pretty straightforward, you should read them. I especially like the Covenant description of human weapons from the Great Council. Human weapons are primitive, mostly chemical and projectile in nature, but some are effective nonetheless. Our reliance on and expectation of energy-based weapons mean that we may need to adjust our strategy when faced with human devices. However, the simplistic nature of human weapons makes them open to analysis. Covenant weapons are always superior, but when faced with the choice of wielding no weapon or a human weapon, our forces should acquire the nearest weapon at hand, even if human. A basic understanding of how these primitive weapons work is important so that we may use these weapons to our advantage. Isn't that really cool? Definite pop color there. But yeah, definitely read through all of these on your own. They're fun. Next we move on to the vehicles, where I'll read two of my favorite entries. First is the Covenant Council's take on human vehicles as a whole. In some ways more primitive than their weaponry, human vehicles must be taken seriously nonetheless. Usually armed, and considering their wield limitations, remarkably agile, human vehicles have been designed for this precise terrain. Specifications on the vehicles were simple to find in public and encrypted data streams. We have gleaned little that we had not already assumed. I like that they respect the intent of the design of the human vehicles, remarking on their agility on Earth's terrain. Super fun. Second, I like the human entry on the Spectre. Multi-troop armored transport is small and maneuverable, and, while slow, can move with ease in confined spaces. Main weaknesses are lack of speed and acceleration, and that occupants are fairly exposed. Rear-mounted plasma cannon is dangerous, and vehicles provide multiple firing positions. I feel like the official who wrote this was throwing some shade at the Spectre. Maybe those issues are why we never saw it again. The remainder of the manual walks you through the different HUD elements of the game, how to use Xbox Live and System Link, and the different multiplayer options there are, and so on. The last thing I want to touch on is this cool picture of the troops on the Pelican Bench. I really like that photo. I think that's when they're preparing to land on like the first Earth level in Halo 2. Pretty fun. Well, isn't that outstanding? It's not often we get two opposing versions of a game manual, or shoot, any manual at all anymore. Well, I hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe if you did. Have a good one.